Hello guys, welcome back to another video. My name is Tessa and today we are going to be talking about the new book releases in 2025, specifically within the next few months, so some April, May, and June releases that I'm looking forward to this year. A lot of them are actually my favorite authors, so that's really exciting. I will be putting the cover of the books on the screen, that way you know which books I'm talking about. I'll put the release date in case you're interested in grabbing some of these books as well. I will also be talking about the genres, what the synopsis of the books are, all of that in this video. With that being said, if you have not, please subscribe to my channel and like this video if you enjoyed it. I love the little community I am building. I just recently hit 600 subscribers, which is just mind-blowing to me, and I cannot express how grateful I am. But without further ado, let's get into this video and talk about the new releases in the upcoming months this year. The first book we're going to be talking about is Say You'll Remember Me by Abby Jimenez. If you're new to my channel, my videos, the book videos, all of those, Abby Jimenez, I've talked about her countless of times before. She is an incredible author. Her writing style, her characters, everything about her books I love. I was going through a time where I was just checking off every single book that she ever wrote. I read the Happily Ever After playlist. I read Yours Truly. Then she just had another book come out just for the summer, and all of them are just incredible. It's all kind of romance based, a contemporary romance. However, she doesn't just talk about the love and finding love. There's always different aspects of struggling. So whether it's family issues or personal issues, anxiety, she incorporates all of those things into her books and really makes them meaningful and relatable, which I love. I don't like the books that, they fall in love within the, the second chapter. It's like, you just met, But she doesn't do that. And the way she writes them are they're just amazing. So Say You'll Remember Me is a contemporary romance, and there's two main people, Xavier Rush and Samantha. She describes Xavier Rush as like the perfect guy, a Greek god. He can't do anything wrong, but at some point he opens his mouth and proves her wrong, that maybe there is a little bit more to him than just like how he looks. And Samantha and him end up going on a date. However, she has family issues that are going on, and just a relationship is not something that she can do at the moment. So she asks him to forget about it, just, pretend like it never happened. However, no matter how hard they try, they cannot just forget about how that date went and how amazing it was and how much kind of spark they had. So that's the synopsis. I obviously have not read it, but I am so excited. One, you have the romance, you have the perfect guy, and you have the girl who she loves to prove him wrong. And I feel like I might be some kind of that person. Anyway, so I'm so excited. This book actually comes out April 1st, so super soon. I'm going to have to get my hands on it and read it as soon as I get it, because I just feel like it's gonna be one of those books that I won't forget, which tends to be a lot of her books. And the cover, she always has an animal too. There's a dog on the cover. I love it. So that's the first book that I'm really excited for, Say You'll Remember Me by Abby Jimenez. Let me know if you're as excited as I am. The next book we're going to talk about is actually Fearless by Lauren Roberts. This is the third and final book in the Powerless trilogy. I don't know how I feel about that. I loved the first book so much. We had Powerless, then we had Reckless, and now we have Fearless. Obviously, Reckless just didn't have the punch like Powerless did. Powerless was a phenomenal and just incredible book with the romance, and then you have the fantasy aspect, the action, the chemistry, everything. Reckless obviously kind of started where Powerless left off, but there was a lot of not really much happening throughout the book, and it just didn't hit as hard as I wanted it to. So I'm interested to see how Fearless goes. Peyton, our main character, we have Peyton and Kai. Obviously Kai is that male interest, but Peyton comes back, and this book is talking about a choice that she has to make that's basically gonna determine her fate. But she has to choose between love and loyalty and all of that. I'm not going to get too much into the synopsis of this one. Plus, it's a lot shorter because it's the third book. So if you haven't read the first or second book, I would highly recommend reading those. Even though that second one was a little flat, I definitely think it was still a fun read, and I'm glad I read it. But Powerless. If you're gonna read one of them, just at least read Powerless because it is such a good book. However, Fearless, we're gonna see how that goes. This book comes out April 8th, and so a few days after Say You'll Remember Me, and I'm definitely gonna have to pick it up. The cover, again, stunning. I actually pre-ordered this book on Barnes. I don't know what edition I got, but I pre-ordered it like last year at some point, so this one's already on its way. But yeah, I'm excited. I hope I love it. I do. On the cover, it says betrothed, betrayed, destined for each other. Oh. Anyway, this is the next book that I'm so excited for, and I cannot wait to get my hands on and read. I hope I love it. I do. If I don't, you guys will know. But Fearless. The third book is actually an Emily Henry book. Just all of my favorite authors, you know, coming out with books. Her book that's coming out on April 22nd is Great Big Beautiful Life. She's one of those authors, again, that just compels you with her writing and her stories. Some of her books are my favorite books of all time. Contemporary romance. We have Happy Place, Beach Read, and now we have this one. So, oh, and Funny Story, of course. This book follows two writers, which I'm already kind of loving. The first one is Alice Scott, and the second one is Hayden Anderson. They are both writing a biography about a woman who is known as Margaret Eves. She's a tragic heiress, former tabloid princess, and daughter of one of the most storied and scandalous families of the 20th century. End it there, and I am so hooked. I want to know. They are both competing in writing this biography that Margaret will then choose a winner at the end to publish and write her story. So Alice, she is a people person, so she loves people and people usually love her back. She's ready for this job and she's ready to impress Margaret with kind of like how she handles herself, how she writes. But third, Hayden has no reason. He does not need this because he is already a Pulitzer Prize winning author. So she's kind of like, he doesn't need it. Like, he's already up there. He's got his thing. This is my thing now. So they're going against each other. However, Margaret is only giving each of them pieces of information. So unless they come together and they talk about kind of what she's telling me, what she's telling you, they're not going to have the whole story. So the way it's described is a mystery, tragedy, or a love ballad. Who knows? So I'm really excited. I think it's going to be a very interesting and different read because I know she's written People We Met on Vacation and that kind of book, but I do really think that her writing just gets better and better. Now, there are obviously some books that I just love more than others, but obviously that's just how I relate to them. So this one definitely got me hooked just based on like the two authors competing to write a biography of basically a princess of a very scandalous family. I just think that's going to be so fun and interesting. So like I said, this one comes out April 20, was it 22nd? Yes, 22nd. And I hope I love this book. Like any book, I always hope that I love the book. But if you are already interested in this book as well, please let me know because I think it's going to be a popular one, I would think. And we'll just have to see how I like it. I feel like my April wrap up might just be the best one so far this year. I'm just saying that, but let's move on to the next book. The next book we're going to talk about is actually really exciting because it's a new author for me, and I was not aware that he was coming out with a new book until I looked on Goodreads, because they always like list the upcoming books of this year, and that is My Friends by Frederick Bachman. If you watched my previous video, I talked about Beartown, which was a book that was very unexpectedly loved by me. I did not think I was going to love that book as much as I did, especially with how like the first third of the book went. It was just not grasping me until I hit kind of that third half part. I was obsessed. His stories are always so deep. And so if you're looking for more of a meaningful, sad in a way, but very real story, I would check out his books. They are, at least the one that I read. I've only read one, so I can't say too much, but they are just so moving. So My Friends talks about a funny but deeply moving tale of 4 teenagers whose friendship creates a bond so powerful that it changes a stranger's life 25 years later. So there's 4 friends. The first one is Jor. I think that's how you say it, because it's like Boar, but Jor. Jor, who never backs down from a fight. Then we have quiet and bookish Ted, who is mourning his father. Allie, the daughter of a man who never stays in one place for too long. And finally, an artist, a boy who hoards sleeping pills and shuns attention, but who possesses an extraordinary gift that might be his ticket for a better life. And these 4 people meet and they give each other a reason to get up every morning, to do stuff and to have a life and to keep fighting. And you can already tell, like, it gives me chills just talking about it, because you know it's gonna be a meaningful and deep, like they said, story. So each person kind of has their own characteristics, their own struggles, and they're all friends. So our character is Louisa. I think that's how you say her name. Louisa, which is an artist herself, and she comes and she gets a hold of this painting that is now in her care. And as time goes, she kind of wants to learn the story of this painting. Where did it come from? What was its birthplace? And while she does that, she kind of uncovers more and more about these people's lives and what they struggled with and went through. And so it's just very moving. And I think the synopsis really gives you a good picture. So I can only imagine the book itself. So this is a book that's a little bit more serious, but I think will be a really, really good and life-changing book in a way. Like, I think that this book might stay with me for a while. So this book comes out on May 6th, so a little bit later than the Great Big Beautiful, I want to say Great Big Beautiful Tomorrow, by the way, if you know that song, Great Big Beautiful Life by Emily Henry. So I get a little bit of a break, and then this book will come out. I definitely think I will probably read this book before I read Anxious People, but give me your thoughts and your ideas. I'm kind of excited for this book. I'm a little hesitant because I feel like it might wreck me. You'll know. I'll let you know. But that's the next book. I think we have 3 more books to talk about. We have the next book, which is actually a romance fantasy book as well, and this is The Night and the Moth by Rachel Gillig. I first read Rachel Gillig's book. I read One Dark Window and Two Twisted Crowns, which was a duology. I think I read this 2 years ago. Absolutely loved those books. Loved the main character. I was so sad that it was only a duology. Even though the story kind of ended well, I just wish there was more because I loved the world that she created and the characters she created. So when I saw that she had a book coming out, I was so excited because I hope I love it. I don't know how many books are going to be in this series, but this is book 1 of the Stonewater Kingdom. So first of all, the cover looks great. I think it's so captivating. You have that goddess aspect, but then you also have that knight in armor. So this book is described as a gothic, miscloaked tale of a prophetess. I don't know how to say that word. Prophetess, who is forced beyond the safety of her cloister on an impossible quest to defeat gods. So she is a diviner, what they call a diviner. So in her dreams, she is given visions from 6 unearthly figures known as omens. So she can basically use these dreams to tell, I guess, awful futures. So predict terrible things for people. People travel far and wide to come to her to learn their future and what is kind of going to happen for them. A rude and handsome man known as Roderick, with no respect for Sylvie, which is her name, by the way, Sylvie. He has no respect for her visions. However, the diviners, her sisters, start to disappear one by one. She has no other option but to seek out Roderick to help her figure out where they're going, what's happening to them. And unfortunately, she needs some kind of big, strong knight to help her get rid of these gods. So I think it's a very interesting tale of like the diviners and visions and something that I'm not really used to, knights. I hope this book is captivating and fast-paced. I have a feeling we're gonna get some romance in there, of course, but that action, and I just love a fantasy book. So I'm excited to read another book by her because I've only read that one duology. We'll see kind of how it goes. How many books are going to be in this series, I have no idea. If you know, or maybe I'm just not seeing it, let me know. This book comes out May 20th, so quite a bit later in the month. We have a thriller book next. So let's talk about the thriller coming out in June. With a Vengeance by Riley Sager. A brilliant thriller writer. I love his thriller books. I did start Middle of the Night and not finish it. I will probably restart that because it's been quite a while. I just started it at a time that I was not interested in a thriller, and I think that was my fault because House Across the Lake, Only One Left, absolutely stunning books. I loved them. They're captivating. Mystery, thriller, what's going on, who killed who, what's happening. I love those books. So this one's coming out in June, and June 10th specifically. This book seems so intriguing to me. The synopsis: one train, no stops, a deadly game of survival and revenge. So in 1942, 6 people destroyed Anna Matheson's family. 12 years later, Anna is ready for retribution. She wants to get back at everyone, you know, that was involved in ruining her family. So she has lured the people responsible for it to a luxury train from Philadelphia to Chicago in an overnight journey of 14 hours. So this book takes place over 14 hours. Sure, there might be like some past and present kind of flashback kind of things, but over 14 hours. And her goal is to confront all those people who were responsible for her family's downfall. However, it kind of takes a turn for not so good when one of the crew members or cabin members dies. So someone is now murdering with their own revenge the people in the train. So she has to find out who this is that's murdering all of them, because that's their goal. And she needs to find out who's doing it and what's going on. So they won't stop until everyone's dead, and with time running out, she's forced to hunt the killer. And I just imagine, like, they're on a train. It's not like a big house where they're like hiding. Like, I just think this book is going to be so fun. Is that the right term? For people dying and, you know, finding a killer. So fun and action filled, but yet like a whodunit, what's going on kind of book. So this is the first thriller we have so far coming out kind of within the first half of the year. It's kind of like a weird time because it'll be summer, but maybe I'll just be in that mood to get this book read because it seems so fun and interesting. So With a Vengeance, that is the next book, thriller. We have one more book to talk about, and then we'll hopefully see what other books are coming out later in the year. And if you enjoy this video, let me know and we can do this later on in the year as well. So yes, let's talk about the last book. Sounds Like Love by Ashley Poston. This is an author who wrote The 7-Year Slip. That was an incredible book. 5 out of 5 stars. Highly recommend. It's kind of like a time travel-esque book. So when I saw she was coming out with this one, I really hope I enjoy it as much as I enjoyed that first one. This book, however, follows a girl named Jodi Lark, who is a songwriter, and she's super popular. LA, biggest hits kind of girl. Well, she can't write songs. She's in like a writer's block kind of thing. So she goes back to her hometown in North Carolina to hopefully have like the surfing and the beach and everything help her write some more music. When she gets there, her best friend's avoiding her. She's kind of losing the memories of her mom. So it's just not going as well as she hoped it would, until she starts to hear this song in her head, because there's a musician who is there that she can hear his music. So a musician who is described as aggravating and gruff on the outside, and it doesn't give us a name of who he is, so I don't really know what his name is, but he's aggravating and gruff on the outside, but he has a plan, and she is basically going to write a song with his music to hopefully fix both of their problems, go from there. Obviously, there's going to be some kind of romance that sparks, but I'm interested to see how that comes about with his grumpiness, her sunshiness, you know, those other battles that she's facing with her best friend and the memory of her mom. And so always more than just the romance on the outside. This book comes out June 17th, and that's the last book I was going to talk about today. There are a few other books that are coming out, but I did not look at any of them to see if I would be interested. I kind of picked the first few that jumped out at me that really seemed to catch my eye and my heart. However, if you guys are interested in these books as well, or if you have your own thoughts and feelings, let me know in the comments down below. If you are excited for any books coming out that I did not mention, let me know, because I obviously need to buy more books. I don't have enough. However, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. It was a little different, but I enjoyed it because it gives me something to like look forward to and to keep me in the reading spirit. Thank you guys so much, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.